In Egypt, they say the soul does not die. It simply changes its face. The sands of Luxor still whisper the name Neb-Hetep, and beneath the cracked moonlight, something ancient is walking again. The mask has found its vessel. But kings do not share their thrones, and Dr. Selim Rashed is not done fighting. Night fell heavy on the western cliffs of Thebes. The wind, a restless spirit, howled through the tombs, stirring loose the dust of forgotten millennia. Lina trudged through the shifting dunes, the beam of her flashlight trembling in her hands, a nervous heartbeat against the dark. She had followed the tracks here, a desperate breadcrumb trail left in the sand. But now they stopped, vanished, right before a structure that shouldn't exist. The Temple of Mirrors, a ruin lost to maps for centuries, swallowed by the desert and time itself. It loomed before her, a silhouette of impossible angles against a sky littered with cold, distant stars. Hesitantly, she stepped through the crumbling entrance. Inside, an eerie warmth pushed back against the night's chill. Torches, impossibly, were already lit, their flames dancing and casting long, distorted shadows that writhed like living things. And then she heard it, voices echoing from the main hall. One of them, unmistakably, was Selim's. Pharaoh Neb-Hetep, Imhotep. The ancient words resonated through the stone, each syllable a hammer blow against the silence. Become divine, Neb-Hetep, at peace. But the tone, it wasn't his. It was deeper, older, commanding, the voice of a king who had never known defeat. Lina crept closer, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs. She peered around a massive pillar carved with the likeness of Anubis, and what she saw made her blood run cold. She froze. In the center of the hall, bathed in the flickering torchlight, stood Selim, or what was left of him. He was draped in fine, ancient linen and crowned in gold that seemed to drink the light. The mask, the cursed artifact that had started this nightmare, was no longer just fixed to his face. It was his face. The polished gold had spread, liquid and alive, tracing shimmering veins of light down his neck and across his arms, a divine corruption taking root in his very flesh. Behind him, an altar carved from a single block of obsidian pulsed with a faint, rhythmic glow, like a heart. A slow, ancient heart, beating for the first time in 3,000 years. Selim, she whispered, the name of fragile prayer in the vast, echoing chamber. The figure turned and smiled. It was Selim's mouth, but the expression was alien, filled with a terrible, serene amusement. Selim is resting, he said, and his voice was a chilling symphony. It carried an echo that wasn't human, a resonance that seemed to vibrate from the very stones around them, as if two distinct beings spoke through the same mouth, one mortal, one divine. I am Neb-Hetep reborn. Lina's hand moved on pure instinct, her fingers finding the familiar shape of her camera. She lifted it, the red recording light a tiny, defiant spark in the oppressive darkness. He watched her, this reborn pharaoh, his golden eyes glinting with a patronizing curiosity. You still cling to proof, little scribe. A picture to capture the uncapturable. He gestured with a hand now banded in gold, his movements fluid and regal. But what you seek cannot be filmed, Lina. The mirror of eternity reflects only those who kneel. He pointed toward the obsidian altar. Its polished surface shimmered, not with the reflection of the torches, but with something else, something impossible. Lina stared into its dark depths and saw herself, but it wasn't her. The mirrored image wore the golden mask. It stared back at her, its eyes hollow, its expression a perfect, terrifying blank. Her own face, crowned in the gold of the pharaoh, a willing vessel. The reflection smiled slowly, a silent invitation to surrender, to kneel, to become one with the eternal king. He wants more than a host, Neb-Hetep's dual voice explained, a soft, seductive whisper that coiled around her. He wants a queen. The ritual is incomplete. The soul is singular, but power demands balance. My K requires its Ba. My sun needs its moon. He took a step toward her, his presence overwhelming, the air crackling with an unseen energy. Selim fought me, his modern mind so rigid, so full of doubt. He resisted the glory I offered. But you have seen the impossible and did not run. You followed me into the heart of the forgotten. Your soul is pliable. Lina stumbled back, her camera feeling like a useless toy in her hand. This is insane. It's a hallucination. The dust, the stress. She stammered, trying to anchor herself in logic and reason. Reason? Neb-Hetep laughed, a sound like grinding stone and chiming gold. Reason is the cage your fleeting kind builds to feel safe. I offer you eternity, a throne beside a god. See for yourself. He gestured again to the altar. The reflection changed. Now she and Selim know Neb-Hetep stood side by side, both clad in gold, their masked faces turned towards an adoring, spectral crowd of ancient Egyptians kneeling in the reflection. They ruled together, eternal and absolute. Selim's consciousness is a flickering candle in a storm. I can snuff it out forever, or you can join us. Convince him to yield. His love for you is his only remaining strength. It is his only weakness. Use it. Bring him to my side, and he will live as my honored vessel. Refuse, and I will tear his soul from his body and cast it into the outer dark. Lina stared from the terrifying vision in the altar to the golden pharaoh before her. She could see a flicker in his eyes, a brief momentary spasm of fear, of Selim trapped inside fighting a losing battle. The choice was impossible. Save the man she loved by condemning him to eternal servitude, or fight a god and risk losing him completely. The Temple of Mirrors held more than just reflections. It held the fate of a soul, and the price of looking away was a darkness far deeper than any desert night. Neb-Hetep extended a hand, and the golden veins tracing patterns across his skin flared with an impossible inner light. His voice, a strange blend of Selim's familiar tones and something ancient, echoed off the stone walls. The tomb is incomplete, he declared, his gaze fixed on Lina. The heart must return to the body. He was referring to her, of course. She was the vessel, the key to his full resurrection. But Lina stood her ground, shaking her head in defiance. The man before her wore her friend's face, but his eyes held a terrifying, alien coldness. You're not him, Selim, she whispered, her voice trembling but firm. You're just a ghost. The words seemed to anger him. In an instant, the dormant torches lining the chamber walls burst into violent life, casting flickering, monstrous shadows that danced around her. The sand on the floor, once still, began to stir. It writhed and churned, swirling into cyclones that solidified into horrifying shapes. Mummified attendants, their linen wrappings brittle with age, clawed their way out of the ground, their empty eye sockets fixed on the figure wearing the mask. With a chilling synchronicity, they dropped to one knee. their heads bowed low in reverence to their king. The illusion of Selim was completely gone now. Neb-Hetep's voice thundered through the tomb, a command that shook the very stones. "Bring the vessel." Before Lina could even react, the sand itself became her prison. Tendrils of it shot up, wrapping around her arms and legs, constricting with unnatural strength. She screamed as she was lifted effortlessly off her feet, held captive in mid-air by the pharaoh's will. He approached her slowly, each step deliberate and menacing. The golden mask gleamed in the torchlight, its serene expression a horrifying contrast to the terror unfolding. He leaned in close, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper that was somehow louder than his roar. "When I wear your face, the line of kings will live again." The finality in his tone sent a fresh wave of fear through her. This was it. This was the end. But then, for a fleeting, impossible heartbeat, something flickered in his eyes. The coldness receded, replaced by a flash of desperate panic. It was Selim. His voice, faint and strained, broke through the ancient consciousness. "Run! Lina?" It was a gasp, a final plea from the man trapped within the monster, but the moment was tragically brief. Neb-Hetep's control slammed back down with absolute force. A sneer twisted his lips. "The weak do not command me," he hissed, crushing the last remnant of Selim's spirit as if it were an insect. The hope that had flared in Lina's chest died just as quickly, replaced by a cold, hard dread. With his prisoner secured, Neb-Hetep turned to the grand altar at the center of the chamber. The ritual was about to begin. As he raised his arms, the entire temple began to tremble. The hieroglyphs carved into the walls, once simple decorations, started to glow with an intense blue-white light. They shifted and flowed, breaking free from their static positions to form a swirling, hypnotic spiral of symbols that circled the room. Neb-Hetep produced a ceremonial dagger from his sash, its blade obsidian sharp. Without hesitation, he sliced his palm open, but what dripped from the wound was not blood. It was a thick, molten gold, the very essence of his divine nature. He let the golden liquid fall into a basin carved into the altar. It hissed like water on a hot stone, but instead of steam, it erupted into a blinding column of pure light, shooting straight up toward the temple's ceiling. Lina, struggling against her sandy bonds, watched in horror, but as the light intensified, something strange happened. Behind the altar stood a large, polished obsidian mirror, meant to reflect the pharaoh's glory for eternity. As the light from the basin struck its surface, the reflection shimmered and distorted. For a split second, it didn't show the ancient temple. It showed Selim's modern laboratory back in Cairo. The reflection of the golden mask flickered across computer screens, glass beakers, and security monitors. Then the image shifted again to the polished floors of the Cairo Museum, the mask's face appearing in the reflection of a display case. It flashed across a tourist's phone screen, a car's rearview mirror, the lens of a security camera overlooking a busy street. Every reflective surface, no matter how small or how far, was now carrying his image. A horrifying realization dawned on Lina. The hieroglyphs, the altar, the golden blood, it wasn't just a resurrection. It was an upgrade. Neb-Hetep wasn't just bringing himself back to life in this one location. He was using the ritual's energy to digitize his consciousness, to spread his being through every mirror, every screen, every piece of glass in the modern world. He wasn't resurrecting, He was evolving, preparing to launch a new kind of conquest from the digital realm into the physical one. The world was about to become his kingdom, and everyone would be his subjects. Lina's heart hammered against her ribs as Neb-Hetep's grip tightened, the golden mask radiating a suffocating power. The light, once blinding, now pulsed with a malevolent rhythm, trying to absorb her into its ancient void. She thrashed, screaming Selim's name into the echoing chamber, a desperate plea to the man trapped within the monstrous facade. For a fleeting moment, the mask's brilliant light flickered, as if her voice had found a crack in the centuries-old curse. Then a voice, faint but familiar, pierced through the cacophony. It was Selim's, strained and desperate, rising from the very heart of the echo. Lina, destroy the heart. The altar, do it now. His words were a lifeline. Adrenaline surged through her. She twisted free, her eyes darting around the chamber, landing on a fallen torch, its flame still sputtering defiantly. With a surge of renewed strength, she seized it. Without a second thought, she hurled the torch into the basin at the center of the altar. Flame erupted with a deafening roar, engulfing the sacred pool. A violent tremor shot through the chamber, the very foundations of the temple groaning in protest. A spider web of cracks raced across the surface of the obsidian mirror, shattering the reflection of the enthroned pharaoh. Neb-Hetep shrieked, an unearthly, agonizing sound, a horrifying blend of a human scream and an animalistic roar. The golden mask, the symbol of his eternal power, began to melt. It ran like hot wax down Selim's face, revealing the tortured features of the man she knew. He stumbled toward her, his hand outstretched, not as a conquering king, but as a prisoner pleading for release. End it, please, he rasped, his eyes filled with a pain that transcended time. The temple ceiling began to crumble, raining down dust and stone. The ancient structure was collapsing, taking its curse with it. Time was running out. Lina grabbed the torch again, its flame now a beacon of destruction. With all her might, she plunged it deep into the heart of the stone altar, right where the offering basin had been. A blinding shockwave of pure white light exploded outward from the point of impact. It was a silent, all-consuming blast that vaporized the darkness, the echoes, and the very air she breathed. And then everything went silent. The world dissolved into a void of white, and Lina knew no more. When consciousness returned, it was slow and hazy, like waking from a long, fevered dream. The rough texture of sand was beneath her, the cool pre-dawn air on her skin. She was lying in the desert, just outside the temple, or where the temple had been. The grand entrance, the towering pylons, all of it was gone, buried once more beneath the shifting sands, as if it had never been disturbed. The desert had reclaimed its secret. Panic seized her. Selim, she called out, her voice hoarse. She scrambled to her feet, scanning the empty expanse of dunes. He was nowhere to be found. Had he been buried with the temple? Was he lost forever? A glint of gold caught her eye. Half buried in the sand lay a single, jagged shard of the mask, all that remained of Neb-Hetep's terrifying visage. Its lapis lazuli eye still held a faint, residual glow, like a dying ember. Carefully, reverently, she picked it up. The metal was cool to the touch. She tilted it, watching her own reflection warp and distort in its curved surface. For a split second, the image changed. It wasn't her face staring back, but Selim's. His expression was grim, his lips forming a single silent word. Beware. A chill ran down her spine that had nothing to do with the morning air. She dropped the fragment as if it were burning hot, stumbling back. As the first rays of dawn crested the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, she turned and walked away, not daring to look back. Behind her, unheard and unseen, the sand shifted. The shard of the mask slowly, unnaturally, turned itself upright, its single lapis eye staring unblinkingly toward the rising sun. The story should have ended there. Another whispered legend swallowed by the Egyptian desert. But some things refused to stay buried. In the weeks that followed, strange reports began to surface. In the grand museums of Cairo, curators quietly began removing ancient mirrors from their exhibits, citing vague restoration needs. In Luxor, near the Valley of the Kings, locals spoke in hushed tones of eerie lights moving beneath the dunes at night, a golden glow that seemed to emanate from the very earth. And then it spread to the place where all modern myths are born, the internet. Digital archives, historical documentaries, even shaky tourist videos of the mask's original discovery began to exhibit strange distortions. For a frame or two, the image would flicker, and viewers swore they could see the mask's eyes move, or its reflection shift in the glass of its display case. Most people dismissed it as a glitch, a digital artifact in a world saturated with corrupted data. But others, those who listened to the whispers from the desert, believed something else. They said the pharaoh hadn't been destroyed, but displaced. He had found a new kingdom, not of stone and sand, but of glass and light and the countless reflections of our modern world. Your phone screen, the monitor you're watching this on right now, the polished black surface of your television, a new, infinite empire of mirrors, because a true king never truly dies. He just finds a new throne. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the sands of time. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the edge of history. Stay curious and always be careful what you see in the reflection.